福建的第一批剩女呢，已经住进养老院了。
Recently, an online report mentioned that the first batch of so-called older leftover women in Fujian have now moved into nursing homes. According to interviews, these elderly women said that their biggest regret in life is not having left behind descendants who could be there to accompany them in their old age. Their greatest wish is for someone to visit them regularly. In the past, they believed they had enough to be proud of and approached marriage with a mindset of better single than settle, always in pursuit of true love. However, time is ruthless. Year after year, time quietly slipped away, and they gradually entered old age. Now they can only live simple, monotonous lives in nursing homes, repeating the cycle of eating and sleeping every day. Among themselves, these elderly women often share their life reflections and talk about the choices they made in the past. But what truly frightens them is not the monotonous life in the nursing home, but the frequent sight of their old friends passing away, one by one. They increasingly long for family members to be by their side, accompanying them on the last leg of their life journey. Some have even expressed that, no matter the cost, they hope to adopt godsons or goddaughters to fill the emotional void deep in their hearts. Even if there is a risk of being deceived, they are willing to take that chance. So, I want to warn all the older single women out there to be cautious. If you meet someone suitable, you should cherish them as soon as possible, and not be overly picky, because time waits for no one, and marriage and family may bring the companionship and comfort that one needs in old age.
第一批终身未嫁的女生现在都怎么样了呢？
The first batch of women who never married in China, how are they doing now? It's said that the first batch of lifelong unmarried women has already moved into nursing homes. These women once enjoyed freedom and independent lives in their youth, choosing to spend half of their lives single. So as time passed, do they regret their decisions? A reporter once interviewed one of these women. In her youth, she was a campus beauty, with outstanding looks and a confident personality. She took out a photo of herself from her younger days and showed it to the reporter, reminiscing. Back then, I had high expectations and always felt that no man was good enough for me. When I went on blind dates, not a single person caught my eye. As a result, she didn't rush into marriage and instead lived the life she wanted. She continued, "At the time, I thought being single was quite carefree. I felt it didn't matter if I had a man or not. I could buy a car and a house on my own." However, as time went on, certain voids began to appear in her life. She realized that no amount of money could fill the role a man might have played in her life. She recalled that in her earlier years, many of her friends had also chosen to remain single, but as time passed, one by one, they got married and had children, while she remained alone, never having started a family. During the peak of her career, the busyness of work allowed her to overlook this loneliness, and she even enjoyed the peace that came with it. However, when she moved into the nursing home, she often saw the elderly around her gradually passing away. What hurt her the most was when other elderly people had relatives and children visiting them, while she had to face solitude alone. She admitted, "At this stage, I realize how wonderful it would be to have family around. But now, it's too late to understand that." Her words are thought-provoking. For those young women in their 20s and 30s who are firmly determined not to get married, are you truly prepared to walk through life alone?
今天被一篇很心酸的报道狠狠教育了。
Today, I came across a heartbreaking report that deeply moved me. The article mentioned that the first batch of older leftover women in China have now moved into nursing homes. They regret not having left behind offspring. Now they can only chat every day in the nursing home with a group of elderly people, discussing the trivialities of life. What's even more terrifying is that they often witness those around them passing away one after another. In the limited time they have left, these aunties really hope to have a few godsons or goddaughters to fill the emptiness in their hearts. They would spend any amount of money, even if they get scammed, it doesn't matter. Reading such a report made me feel a wave of sadness. Thinking about my own situation of being 45 years old, unmarried, and without a boyfriend, my heart always feels a bit heavy. I have truly started to fear the future, and I don't know what to do.
我是一个47岁的剩女，这个年龄真的是很老了。
I am a 47-year-old, leftover woman. At this age, I truly feel old. But I want to ask, is there anything wrong with being unmarried? Is it a crime, or am I infringing upon others? In nearly 20 years of being a leftover woman, I have experienced countless hardships and challenges. The stories of this time could easily fill 2 books. Throughout this period, I have endured significant psychological pressure, especially in my hometown, where traditional views feel increasingly oppressive. To avoid gossip from neighbors and relatives, I once considered hastily finding someone to marry, but at the same time, I cannot enter into marriage with someone I do not love. Over the years of confusion, I have gone through much pain and sleepless nights. Until today, I have finally understood that although I am unmarried, it does not mean I have any moral issues. It does not hinder my filial piety, kindness, or thoughtfulness. I admire beauty, and it is precisely because of my kindness and pursuit of an ideal life that I feel out of place in this reality. I hope to find that pure green leaf, a partner who resonates with my innermost self. But such a soulmate is as rare as finding a needle in a haystack. The odds are almost negligible, and throughout history, few have achieved this. Perhaps it's just my bad luck, but during this time, I have pursued diligently and have few regrets. I consider myself a transcendent person, yet sometimes I am not carefree enough. During this long wait, I have met several potential men, but misunderstandings caused us to miss opportunities. Now I can calmly accept whatever life brings me. Whether I walk on the sunny path or the narrow bridge, it is my choice. I understand that I should now have the courage to bear the consequences and not blame the heavens or others. At the same time, I need to correctly face my inner self, analyze myself, and seek answers. My singleness is not due to a lack of understanding or willingness to support men. On the contrary, I can do everything and am willing to do it, provided I can meet someone with mutual attraction and good communication. Everyone has different reasons for becoming a leftover woman, but we should all maintain a positive mindset. For instance, I know I cannot find a man without prior marriage experience. If he is suitable in all aspects and has children, I can accept it and be willing to love him along with his children, which can lead to a happy family. In the future, if given the chance, I would be willing to invest a lot in my partner, using my maturity and wisdom to manage a family. I believe that at this age, we are all thoroughly mature and are no longer the same selves we used to be. Each person's criteria for choosing a partner will adjust with life changes. Regardless of whether I meet someone willing to marry or not, maintaining inner peace is the most important thing. We should discover the beauty of life that we overlooked during our busy times and cherish the bond with our parents. Living well alone is also possible. I can enjoy good food and make the most of each day. Even if I cannot make my parents happy through marriage, I can still repay them in other ways. This year, both my 98-year-old grandmother and my 90-year-old great-grandmother passed away in the same year, which has led me to reflect on the importance of personal happiness while also being responsible to my parents. Now, their happiness and joy are equally important to me. If I cannot make them happy through marriage, then I must repay them in other ways. Thus, I have decided to move back to my parents' small town, cooking for them every day, taking them traveling, and spending as much time with them as possible. This decision fills me with a sense of fulfillment. The meaning of life lies not only in pursuing my own happiness, but also in my responsibility and gratitude to my parents.
82年42岁大龄生来
I was born in 1982, and I'm 42 years old. I truly feel like I've become a leftover grandma. I sincerely advise everyone to get married as soon as possible. Otherwise, living a life like mine is truly tragic. My living expenses are low and I don't need to save for a child's future. The money I earn is just enough for myself, and I can't spend it all alone. There's no noise from children, no arguments between spouses. Just me alone in an empty house, feeling lonely to the point of suffocation. It's really sad. On weekends, I don't need to take children to classes. Nor do I have to wake up early to prepare breakfast for my husband. That big 2-meter bed is only for me, allowing me to wake up quietly whenever I want. It's so sad. I have almost no friends and no social activities in my life. So on weekends I can only stay home alone, feeling miserable as I binge-watch shows, cook, and read. If I don't want to cook, the only option is to order takeout. This kind of life is truly miserable, and I don't know how much longer it will last. As a leftover grandma, I sincerely hope someone understands the loneliness of single life. It really is tragic. I look forward to meeting a suitable man this year.
身材匀称，长相也还过得去，是家里的独生女。
Hello everyone, I am 43 years old and have never been married. Looking back at my youth, I had a well-proportioned figure and was quite good-looking. Being the only child in the family, I want to share some advice from my personal experiences with those girls who never planned to get married. When I was young, I had a decent job and was considered a small leader in my company. I had many advantages in various aspects. Many of my friends got married, but many experienced divorce and often revealed fear when discussing marriage. Gradually, I developed the idea that being alone is so free, and that not marrying or having children could help me escape many troubles in life. From my 20s, my family urged me to marry every time we met or during holidays. At first, I responded by saying I was still young, but over time I became more assertive. Every time they pressed me about marriage, I strongly opposed it, even to the point of not wanting to go home. As time passed, they stopped pressuring me. However, a few years ago, my parents passed away, and they never saw me get married in their lifetime, which inevitably left them with regrets. Since then, I have been alone, and I slowly began to feel lost, deeply pondering whether my choice to remain unmarried was right or wrong. In my youth, I was independent and strong, never relying on anyone. I remember when I first came to Guangzhou to work hard. Loneliness was my companion, but that kind of loneliness was just a temporary boredom. Now, however, the loneliness fills me with fear, because no matter what problems I encounter, I am still alone. Now I realize that my decision to remain unmarried and childless in my youth was not because I was particularly independent or strong, but because, with my parents by my side, I enjoyed my youth's freedom. However, as time passes, this choice has left me facing loneliness and helplessness in middle age. The beautiful things in life often can only be seen on TV, while in reality, although I have savings and social security pensions, what I fear most is solitude. Now I hear some young girls say that living alone is so free that they can do whatever they want, earn their own money, and spend it however they like. I want to tell them, you are too naive. As someone who has been through this, I know how painful it is to live alone at this age. After my parents passed away, I fell seriously ill. During my hospital stay, I couldn't do anything. I even had to find friends to help me sign the surgery forms. But friends also have their own families, and in the end, I had to hire caregivers. However, many problems cannot be solved with money. Although my health is okay now, I cannot imagine how I will face life when I get older, become immobile, or even develop dementia. I have considered going to a nursing home, but with my savings, I could only afford it until I am about 75 if my health is good. Going to a nursing home is just waiting for the end, and I really don't want to spend my later years like that. Now I am alone at home, filled with fear, with no one to talk to. The only companion I have is my pet dog, and I am also afraid of the day when this little dog will leave me. I sincerely advise those young girls who do not want to marry to at least choose to have a partner or children. Never think that having money can solve everything. You will understand this when you grow old. I truly regret not spending enough time with my parents, and I wish I had cherished the days spent together. For those who are being urged to marry, please do not argue with your parents or refuse to go home like I did, because parents are the ones who love you the most in this world. One day, you will regret the impulsiveness of your youth and wish you had listened to your parents.
81年的，今年43岁，还未婚未育。
I was born in 1981, and I am 43 years old this year. I am still unmarried and childless. I would like to know how many women of my age in China share similar experiences. All along, I have been living alone, without getting married or having children. I am curious about whether there are men in similar situations as well. Over the years of living alone, I seem to have grown accustomed to this lifestyle. However, some friends and relatives often mention that I should consider having a child or finding a partner to get married. Hearing this makes me feel like it might be too late. After all, I will soon be 44, and I really do not want to have children anymore. Furthermore, the difficulties of raising a child make me feel overwhelmed. If I choose not to have children, then marriage seems to have no substantial meaning for me. After all, why would someone marry me? Is it just to take care of me in my old age? This does not seem feasible in reality, and it wouldn't be fair to the man either. Therefore, I would like to know how many people born in 1981 in China are still unmarried or childless. What are their current living conditions like? I live in Hubei, and I send my best wishes to all my unmarried friends born in the 1980s, hoping everyone is doing well.
Today, I encountered an older single woman at the marriage agency opened by my friend. She actually had an argument with my friend. Truly, she is living up to the reputation of an older single woman. I'm really impressed. This woman is 36 years old this year. She lives in Beijing, has a bachelor's degree, stands 170 centimeters tall, owns 2 apartments, has a car, and earns over 10,000 yuan a month working in a government job. Although her conditions seem good, my friend thinks her shortcomings are too obvious. Her age is a problem. As soon as my friend mentioned her age, she immediately interrupted us, stating that she doesn't have high requirements. She knows she's not young anymore and doesn't want to pursue high-asset men, feeling that she doesn't have the capability to provide emotional value. She just hopes to find a man who is somewhat similar to her. Her partner preferences are preferably a local Beijing man, where neither of them is expecting anything from the other. She has what the man has. The partner should have at least a bachelor's degree and a height of over 178 centimeters, because she claims to own 2 apartments. Therefore, the man should have at least 2 apartments as well. Her only requirement is that his income should be twice hers, as she doesn't want to struggle to support the family after marriage. Otherwise, she would look down on the man. She also mentioned that the man should ideally be somewhat good-looking, because she places importance on first impressions. Despite her straightforward personality and ability to express her thoughts directly, my friend believes her demands are still a bit high. So my friend told her that such requirements may be hard to fulfill, especially in Beijing. The choices for local men are vast, and there are many out-of-town women working here, making the competition very fierce. Those men who own 2 or more properties, are over 178 centimeters tall, earn more than 30,000 yuan a month, and are somewhat good-looking are in high demand on the matchmaking market, with many women aged 25 to 35 queuing up for them. She asked my friend what advantages she has compared to these women. She then asked my friend how she could adjust her conditions to find a suitable partner more easily. We suggested that she might consider relaxing her age and geographic limitations, and if a man can afford the down payment for a house in Beijing, that would be good enough. As for height, it could be lowered to over 170 centimeters, and income requirements could also be slightly reduced to be similar to hers. She could even consider divorced men. Unexpectedly, as soon as my friend mentioned this, her expression changed immediately, and her voice raised significantly. She believes she is not inferior, and if she lowers her requirements, it's like she is settling for less. Why should she spend time and money on a marriage agency then? She insisted that since they think she has no hope, she might as well not look for a man and live alone, which she feels is perfectly fine. She stressed that just because we are older doesn't mean there's a problem. Have Chinese men really become so superficial? She completely disagrees with what we said. After listening, my friend kindly advised, "Young lady, your current situation does make it quite difficult to find a match." She replied, "Does this mean we women cannot have a few requirements?" Finally, my friend suggested she go home and think it over before getting back to us, and this woman left without looking back. What do you think about this matter? Feel free to leave your comments. I would love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to our channel. Your support is very important to us, and we will continue to provide you with better content. Thank you again for watching, and see you next time.